in a forgotten corner of the jungle where gazes rarely linger. And the silence is only broken by the hum of delicate wings. We immerse ourselves, not just to observe, but to witness up close the miracles of nature that defy everything we know as logical. Among damp trunks and leaves glistening with dew, begins one of the stories, most surprising of life, the silent journey of an ant. Still clinging to the ground. It seems fragile, insignificant. But little by little, in a mysterious and meticulous process, it transforms inside a cocoon into something that seems straight out of a dream. When it finally breaks its shell, emerges a butterfly with wings painted in the colors of the forest. A living masterpiece, drawn by the hands of the creator. But not everything in this tiny world is tenderness and delicacy. Just a few steps away, among mosses and hidden roots, jumps a creature so small it could fit on the tip of a finger at first glance. This tiny toad seems harmless, almost adorable. Its eyes shine like black beads, and its moist skin reflects the morning light. However, what predators do not know, and many discover too late, is that it harbors a deadly secret. These and many other stories of survival unfold in silence, among fallen leaves, beneath the soil, moist and in the most hidden corners of the trees. An invisible drama to hurried eyes, but essential for the balance of life. Creatures, tiny, fight, adapt, and reinvent strategies to continue, existing in an environment as beautiful as unforgiving. Now you will have the opportunity to witness all this like never before. Welcome to the world, hidden and silent, of the Amazon rainforest. In the heart of South America, where maps reveal an immense green patch that crosses 9 countries, exists a jungle so vast and deep that it defies everything we know about life on Earth. But beyond its geographical grandeur, what truly makes this jungle unique is what it hides. A silent and hidden world, inhabited by small beings almost invisible. Tiny beetles that recycle organic matter, transforming dead leaves into nourishment for the fertile soil. Small birds that scatter seeds far away, giving rise to new trees that will sustain future generations. In the vast green stage of the Amazon, where giant trees compete for space with mighty rivers, exists a world invisible to common eyes. The realm of small animals. They are the true secret guardians of the jungle, creatures that, though tiny, carry on their backs the weight of the survival of the entire ecosystem. In this miniature world, the drama of life unfolds with the same intensity as the great hunts. Every inch is a battlefield. Every drop of dew an ocean to cross. It is the empire of the small, an empire without which the jungle simply would not exist. The Amazon is not just the largest tropical rainforest in the world. It is a living, intelligent system where even the air seems to contain the sacred essence of nature. Here, everything is connected, and when crossing this green border, you do not enter just a jungle, you enter a hidden universe, where the small sustain the large, and silence carries with it the sound of life. The jungle is alive and watches in silence. A microscopic but vital universe. While the majestic jaguar treads firmly on the humid Amazon soil, its steps brush entire colonies of tiny life. A few centimeters from its paws, ants march in silence, carrying leaves as if they were green ships at sea. In the branches, high where sloths climb slowly, camouflage beetles glide along the bark, ready to defend their territory and food. Among the capybaras bathing in the streams, millions of beings, invisible to distracted eyes, perform essential tasks: recycle nutrients, protect roots, pollinate flowers. On the bark of the trees and among the shadows of the leaves dwell tiny but powerful beings, the insects. These small animals that often go unnoticed are responsible for one of the forces greatest of nature. Scientifically, insects are classified as creatures with the body divided into three parts: head, thorax, and abdomen, 6 legs, and in many cases, wings that allow them to fly. Explore and connect different parts of the jungle. The grand jungle extends like an ocean of trees, covering territories of Brazil, Peru, Colombia, Venezuela, Bolivia, Ecuador, Guyana, Suriname, and French Guiana. The jungle has no end. As far as the eye can see, everything is green. A living carpet that stretches over more than 6 million square kilometers, a surface so immense that it covers almost half of Brazilian territory, the largest country in Latin America. But what impresses about this vast green immensity is not just its size, it is what lives within it. The Amazon harbors today more than 3 million species, among plants and animals. In every new expedition, scientists encounter beings never before seen. It is as if the jungle guarded an infinite, beautiful, and silent world. Among its branches and roots, nearly 10% of all known species on the planet are here. 1/10 of Earth's biodiversity breeds, crawls, flies, and blooms in this brilliant green giant. Here exists a true warehouse of life, where everything is connected and every being, from the smallest to the largest, fulfills its role in the balance of the world. To sustain this richness, the jungle relies on an army of trees, more than 390 billion of them. Trees that breathe, filter the air, produce oxygen, and help regulate this planet's climate. The Amazon is a survival system of the Earth itself. Among the inhabitants, most famous of this invisible world, are the ants, true social engineers that live in complex colonies and work in teams to cultivate food, care for the young, and protect the anthill. They are tireless and organized, carrying leaves, much larger than their own body, to feed the fungi that nourish the entire colony. The beetles, for their part, are the recyclers of the Amazon, helping to decompose wood and dead leaves, returning nutrients, valuable to the soil and keeping the jungle healthy. The bees, many of them stingless, are the gardeners of the forest, visiting flowers in search of nectar and pollen, ensuring that thousands of plants reproduce and continue growing. In the moist shadow of the Amazon soil, among fallen leaves and decaying trunks, lives one of the most impressive insects in the world, the rhinoceros beetle. Its name is no exaggeration. It carries on its head a robust horn, similar to that of a rhinoceros, which it uses in territorial battles against other males. Despite its intimidating appearance, this giant of the insect world is harmless to humans. It does not bite, does not sting, and does not transmit diseases. Its appearance may frighten, but what truly impresses is its strength proportional to its size. It is among the strongest animals on the planet. It can carry up to 850 times its own weight. That would be equivalent to a human lifting a truck. Living mainly in dense jungle areas, the rhinoceros beetle is a natural recycler. During its adult stage, it feeds on rotten fruits, sap, and plant remains. In its larval stage, which can last years, it consumes dead wood, helping to decompose the organic matter of the forest. Its life cycle is silent but fundamental, transforming death into life, returning nutrients to the soil, and maintaining the ecosystem in balance. It is proof that the Amazon is made of creatures that not only survive, but work tirelessly to maintain life at all levels. Crossing this green universe glides a freshwater giant, the Amazon River, with more than 7,000 kilometers in length. Born in the Peruvian Andes and crossing South America until emptying into the Atlantic, like a liquid snake that writes every day. The story of life. This is the living, pulsating, and essential Amazon. The Amazon rainforest is one of the most important ecosystems on Earth. Not because it is literally the lung of the world, as some still claim, but for something even more powerful. Its ability to balance the planet's climate. It is true that trees perform photosynthesis, absorbing carbon dioxide and releasing large amounts of oxygen. But what few people know is that most of that oxygen is consumed by the jungle itself in a natural cycle of respiration. So it is not the lung of the world, but still crucial as a thermostat of the planet. A gigantic climate regulator. Every second, billions of trees exchange gases with the atmosphere, capturing carbon and releasing water vapor. That vapor rises and forms clouds that feed the rainfall regime of all South America and, by extension, affect the climate of the entire planet. Ants that build cities underground with military precision, spreading nutrients and aerating the soil so that roots can breathe. Amazon is a true paradise for reptiles and amphibians. It is estimated that there are more than 400 species of reptiles and more than 1,000 species of amphibians distributed among its rivers, lakes, trees, and moist soils. It is an impressive diversity, where each animal plays a role crucial in the ecological balance of the forest. And among the fascinating beings, there is one in particular that draws attention, the milk frog, also known as Trachycephalus ricinofictrix. Despite its curious name, it does not produce true milk. The nickname comes from a white and milky secretion it expels when it feels threatened, a viscous substance that serves to ward off predators and protect its sensitive skin. This frog lives in the treetops, generally near cavities with water where it lays, its eggs to protect them from aquatic predators, unlike most amphibians that live on the ground or near the jungle floor. The milk frog spends most of its life in the heights, far from human eyes. Its coloration is beautiful, brown with white spots that look like drops of paint on a canvas. At night it comes alive, emitting intense and sharp sounds, as if the jungle came to life through its throat, as if the jungle came to voice through its throat. This creature, besides curious, represents the silent richness of the Amazon. A richness that often is hidden right above our heads, among branches and leaves where life beats in a discreet but essential way. In the high trees, among elevated branches and dense leaves, lives the mythical harpy, also known as the jungle eagle, the most powerful raptor of the jungle, with claws that rival those of a bear. But what makes the Amazon even more extraordinary is a hidden world. Next to these giants dwell beings so small that almost no one sees them. Microscopic insects, frogs the size of a fingernail, butterflies that live only a few days, spiders camouflaged in the tree bark of the trees. They are everywhere. On the ground, in the leaves, in the water, in the air. Almost invisible, but fundamental for the maintenance of this ecosystem. In the Amazon, greatness does not reside only in size. It is in the complexity, in the balance, in the connection. Invisible between the gigantic and the tiny, because here, every being from the fiercest to the most discreet carries with it the secret of life that keeps the jungle breathing. In the heart of the Peruvian Amazon, among moist leaves and dancing shadows, lives a creature that seems straight out of a strange dream, the butterfly caterpillar. This small forest inhabitant is not common. Its body covered in long and colorful hairs seems like a magical mantle that protects it from predators. It is said that its transformation is one of the most fascinating in nature. From caterpillar to a vibrant butterfly that is born to fly in the warm nights of the jungle, that metamorphosis is a silent spectacle, almost invisible to those who do not know where to look. Even mosquitoes and gnats, so hated by us, have their role. They serve as food for other animals and contribute to the complex web of life. Without these small beings, the Amazon would lose its rhythm, its magic, and its ability to regenerate. They are the beating heart that keeps the jungle alive. Invisible, silent, but indispensable. And if you observe carefully, you will realize that in the Amazon, size does not determine importance, and that amid the green immensity, the smallest are also heroes that survive the ferocity of the forest. Among the numerous insects, one enchants observers. Butterflies with their colorful and delicate wings pollinate flowers and serve as food for other animals. While acting as living indicators of the forest's health, these small insects, as diverse as indispensable, form the backbone of the Amazon, keeping the cycle of life in invisible motion, silent and perfect. The Amazon functions as a living machine of cooling, humidity, and atmospheric balance, absorbs heat, distributes moisture with the winds, and helps maintain global temperatures within a safe limit. And in an era when the world is warming ever faster, this jungle becomes not only a natural wonder, but a line of defense. Without the Amazon, climate extremes intensify, droughts become more severe, rains more irregular, and life more difficult. That is why protecting this place is not just preserving trees and animals, it is preserving the future of the entire planet. In this region dwell some of the largest and most imposing animals of the South American continent, like the jaguar, the largest feline in America, silent, agile and powerful, capable of crossing rivers, climbing trees, and dominating its territory with a single glance. There are also the capybaras, the largest rodents in the world, that live in calm groups along the riverbanks, diving and swimming as if they were four-legged fish. Further on, among swamps and stagnant waters, emerges the caiman with its fixed eyes motionless, like a rock but ready to attack in a second. And in the depths of the rivers and streams reigns the feared anaconda, the largest snake in the world, which can exceed 8 miles in length and envelop its prey with terrifying force. Among the moist leaves on the forest floor, hidden among branches and shadows lives one of the animals most beautiful and risky of the Amazon, the golden dart frog. Its tiny body, which rarely exceeds 5 cm, shines with a captivating metallic golden tone, as if it were a creature forged from pure liquid gold. But that beauty carries a silent warning. Do not touch. Its skin produces an extremely potent toxin, capable of eliminating several predators with a single drop. For humans, the poison can be fatal. If it comes into direct contact with wounds or mucous membranes, it is no coincidence that this small amphibian is considered one of the most toxic vertebrates in the world. But the connection between this frog and the indigenous peoples of the Amazon goes far beyond fear. For centuries, some tribes like the Embera in Colombia and the northern Amazon jungle have learned to venerate and use its toxin with caution. By gently heating the frog over fire, without killing it, they extract the poisonous substance from its skin and apply it carefully to the tips of their darts or arrows, hence the name dart frog. This natural weapon is used mainly for hunting medium-sized animals, quickly paralyzing their prey. But this use is not done haphazardly. The indigenous know the frog's cycles, its paths and habits, and extract the venom in a ceremonial way, always with reverence. For them, this tiny being is not just a resource, but a guardian spirit, a living energy of the jungle that must not be wasted or offended. Thus, the golden dart frog becomes an emblem of the Amazon. At once beautiful and deadly, vulnerable and powerful, a reminder that in this jungle, every creature carries a power that goes far beyond what the eyes can perceive. Monkeys like marmosets, howlers, and capuchins are also attentive trackers. With dexterous fingers and trained eyes, they examine barks, rummage through leaves, and explore branches in search of larvae. Beetles, grasshoppers, and even spiders. These tiny animals provide proteins, essential to sustain the accelerated rhythm of life in the canopy, and the most captivating is observing how everything connects. The insects that feed on plants serve as sustenance for birds and mammals, that in turn disperse seeds, fertilize the soil, and keep the cycle in motion. In the Amazon, even the smallest being has a crucial role. No one is isolated. Every creature, no matter how subtle it seems, is an indispensable link in the chain of life. Among these tiny heroes of the forest, there is a group that turns every clearing into a show. The butterflies of the Amazon, vibrant, like pieces of rainbow lost among the trees, float through the air as if dancing to the rhythm of the forest itself. Some, like the imposing Morpho-Menelaus, shines in metallic blue, with wings that reflect the sunlight like celestial mirrors, so captivating that they manage to disorient predators. Others, like the Heliconius, display intense designs of red and black, warning that their bitter taste is a mark of natural defense. And there are also the subtle caligo, known as owl butterflies, with eyes drawn on the wings to scare away those who try to approach. Each of these species fulfills essential roles. They pollinate flowers, nourish birds and insects, and propagate life while completing the short cycle of their days. But they are not just beautiful, they are silent carriers of the forest's health. Where there are many butterflies, there is harmony. Where they fade, something is wrong. That is why they are not merely a detail of the landscape. They are a sign that the Amazon still breathes, still endures, still thrives. When a butterfly lands on a leaf, it carries with it more than pollen. It carries the evidence that life, however vulnerable it seems, can endure in harmony with the chaos of the world. Among all the butterflies that color the Amazon, there is one that carries with it one of the most astonishing odysseys of the animal kingdom. The monarch butterfly, with its orange wings and well-defined black veins, seems overly delicate for this world. But it is precisely that fragility that challenges the improbable. In the Amazon, monarchs emerge in small groups, but their true story unfolds when migration begins. Guided by an invisible energy, they travel thousands of kilometers, starting from areas of South and Central America, crossing jungles, mountains, and fields, until arriving at resting areas in Mexico and even southern United States. It is a legendary odyssey that can last up to 2 months and exceed 4,000 kilometers. The most captivating is that no butterfly completes the entire journey. Each generation advances a segment, lives its short existence, and passes the task to the next. They live on average between 2 and 6 weeks. However, there is a particular generation, known as the migratory generation or Methuselah generation, that emerges at the end of summer and can last up to 8 months, the time enough to complete part of this odyssey of thousands of kilometers between North America and regions of Central America and South. It is as if each monarch knew what to do, even without ever having done it. An ancestral cycle that repeats with enigmatic precision, as if the jungle had engraved the map in the soul of each one. In the Amazon, they feed on the nectar of flowers and contribute to pollination, keeping the bond between species active. And when they leave, they carry with them the whisper of the jungle in their wings, spreading life in their path. The migration of the monarch butterflies is more than a journey. It is a silent miracle that crosses continents and reminds us that even the most vulnerable beings are capable of the greatest feats. The most astonishing moment in a butterfly's existence is not its migration nor its vibrant flight through the jungle, but its emergence in the calm of a leaf hidden among Amazonian branches. A caterpillar begins its metamorphosis, a process as quiet as it is prodigious. First, it builds a cocoon, a kind of living armor where the improbable will happen. Inside it, the caterpillar completely dissolves. Its body that once crawled on the ground and among the leaves liquefies as if it were being annihilated. But it is not annihilation, it is genesis. In complete silence, cells reorder their structure. Wings emerge where there was once skin. The eyes remodel. A new being begins to form. And then, days later, the cocoon structure breaks gradually. Pushing with subtlety and vigor, the butterfly emerges, its wings still damp and vulnerable. It waits motionless until the sun of the forest warms its body, and then for the first time, it flies. That moment that lasts only a few seconds is living proof that metamorphosis is possible, that even the most basic forms of life carry within them a power to be reborn that defies all logic in the Amazon. Every emergence of a butterfly is like a tiny miracle, a reminder that the forest not only hosts life, it recreates it. Every day before the eyes of those who know how to contemplate. While a butterfly is born among the high branches, opening its wings for the first time, under the golden light of the forest, on the moist ground of the Amazon, another scene unfolds. In the wide and green depths of the Amazon, where trees, colossal, rise toward the sky and rivers, snake-like arteries of a living heart, the true force of the forest beats in silence. It is not just the great predators, the sounds of storms, or the roar of the winds that sustain this ecosystem. It is in the murmur of the forest, in the almost imperceptible movement, among fallen leaves, in the highest branches, or beneath the fertile soil where the true architects of life dwell. Ants that cultivate fungi, bees that link flowers to the future, butterflies that cross the continent, and frogs that carry venom and ancestral wisdom, all of them tiny, almost invisible, sustain the balance of one of the most intricate and vital ecosystems on the planet. In addition, bees produce a particular honey, highly nutritious, that has been used for centuries by indigenous communities, both in nutrition and in ancestral medicine. Tiny, subtle, almost imperceptible, bees are like invisible threads that weave the fabric of Amazonian life. And just as the leaf cutters build tunnels underground, bees build links between flowers and forests, between the present and the future. In the Amazon, every creature has its place, and even the smallest carry the weight of life's continuity. As majestic as silent, the ants continue working. They do not stop. They advance in line in impeccable coordination, carrying leaves, wood fragments, seeds, and even bodies of dead insects. But it is not chaos. It is pure strategy. Each ant has a function, each movement part of a larger plan. Some dig deep tunnels, others guard the colony, while most gather food to sustain thousands. They are engineers, warriors, cultivators. Some varieties cultivate fungi inside the nests, using leaf pieces as substrate, as if they were underground farmers. It is a structure so precise that scientists study their patterns to understand how collective work operates at the highest level. Their importance goes far beyond efficiency. They aerate the soil, assist in the decomposition of organic matter, and regulate pests. Without ants, the forest would lose part of its vigor. Life would cease to flow as it should. They are tiny, almost invisible, but they support entire structures with their tenacity. While above, the butterfly begins its flight, and the tree extends its branches to the sky below, the ants ensure everything keeps functioning. And though they seem insignificant, they are the true guardians of the forest. In a world where the small becomes essential, ants remind us that majesty does not always lie in size, but in the ability to collaborate and sustain the spectacle that unfolds daily. The leafcutter ants are undoubtedly the most famous and common in the forest. Anyone who has walked Amazonian trails has surely seen their long lines, carrying leaf pieces over their heads as if marching in an ancestral rite. But what few know is that those leaves are not direct food. They are taken inside the anthill to cultivate a particular type of fungus, the true food of the colony. The leafcutter ants, belonging mainly to the genera. Otta and Acromyrmex are true farmers of the jungle. They build tunnels that can reach up to 7 miles deep and host millions of individuals, everything operating like a living machine in perfect harmony. They divide tasks with impressive efficiency. Some cut, others carry, others protect, and this bustling work that seems simple to human eyes is in fact one of the most intricate and successful forms of social organization in the animal kingdom. Their constant action helps recycle nutrients in the soil and even affects plant growth. Where there are leaf cutters, there is dynamism, change, and harmony. They are tiny, but their fame echoes throughout the forest. Because in the Amazon, what drives the world does not always make noise. Sometimes what allows this forest to endure is the silent movement of animals like the ants that cut leaves. The silent Amazon is alive. It is cunning and deeply connected. It needs no shouting to be majestic. It just needs to endure. Because in this jungle, where every detail counts, it is the smallest beings that build the greatest story of all, the story of life, in its purest form. And that story continues. Every day, even when we cannot observe it. Amid that impeccable balance that beats in the Amazon, insects fulfill more than an ecological role. They are one of the primary sources of sustenance in the forest. For many, they are imperceptible, too small to attract attention. But for hundreds of species, they represent endurance. In every corner, behind leaves, under branches, or between the soil and roots, they become the main dish. Birds of all sizes, like the colorful toucans, the swift flycatchers, or the subtle hummingbirds, depend directly on insects to feed and nourish their young. During the rainy season, when the forest bursts with vitality, entire flocks chase swarms of ants or clouds of termites, taking advantage of every chance to strengthen themselves. But it is not only the birds. The butterfly caterpillar is not just beauty, it is tenacity and mystery, a tiny gem that reminds that, even in the most hidden corners of the Amazon, existence renews itself, amazes and captivates, and thus under the green canopy of the forest, it writes its own story, a story that few know but that forms a vital part of the imposing web of Amazonian life. Also in the Peruvian Amazon, among the rivers and lakes that snake through the jungle, dwells a peculiar character full of tales. The Kururu toad, known for its notable size, shans. It can reach up to 20 centimeters. It is a true legend among local communities. Its name comes from the deep and rough sound it emits, like a mysterious call. In the nights of the jungle, the Kururu toad is famous not only for its size, but also for its resilience. It can endure in diverse environments, from flooded areas to drier forests. In numerous indigenous cultures, it is seen as a guardian of the forest, wrapped in myths and stories that speak of its ability to ward off evil and grant protection. Moreover, its skin produces toxins that act as a shield against predators, making it a being respected and feared at once. The Karuru toad is a key element in the balance of the jungle, regulating insect populations and serving as food for various predators. It is one more evidence of the incredible variety of the Peruvian Amazon, a place where every creature carries a story, a mystery, a life that deserves to be told. And if the leafcutter ants are the tireless workers of the soil, in the heights of the forest and among hidden flowers, another group of silent laborers plays an equally essential role: the bees. In the Amazon, there are more than 3,000 different varieties of bees registered, many of them native and stingless, known as indigenous bees or meliponines. Like the ants, each bee carries a specific mission, but their battlefield is the air, the flowers, and the branches where nectar and pollen hide the promises of new life. They are the great responsible for the pollination of hundreds of plant species, ensuring that plants bear fruit, that seeds disperse, and that the forest cycle keeps turning. Without them, the Amazon would gradually fall silent. Fruits would cease to be born, trees would stop reproducing, and many animals that depend on those fruits would fall into crisis.